And you say you wasn't the type to date back in the 90s when that was a thing.
Right.
Why not?
For me, I wasn't. I wasn't relationship material. And for me, I honestly, up until a certain point in my life, I just wanted to have sex. It's just about, like, yo, are we fucking or not? Like, that was a huge part of my game. Like I say, I was not the most attractive person in the world, so I had to get to the details. Look, hey, how you doing? I'm here, so what's going on. Cool deal. And depending on how I felt, the next word could be, are we fucking tonight?
So
Because
you said you felt you wasn't the most
yeah,
attractive. So because you felt you wasn't the most attractive, is that why you treated women like that and wanted to just fuck and
yeah, I
not
think
get
I
to
had to get to it because if you're not fucking me, why am I wasting my time? Like, why am I gonna sit here and spend, like, why are we gonna go out? Why are we gonna eat dinner? Why are we gonna do all this at the end of the night? I'm just going home because I know at least one girl will sleep with me, and I can always call one girl. So why am I gonna go out with you? Hey, let's go out. Let's have this, and then in the night you're like, thank you so much. Have a good night. Huh? Have a good night? This is not having a good night.
I'm curious. So who was there like anybody like your father figure, anybody like in your upbringing that taught you like you need to get to the pussy?
About growing up was who was sleeping with who. How much sex was you having was always the big thing. I went out with Stacy. Did y'all fuck? That was like always it was never was she nice, was she cool, was she good looking. At some point in time is what did y'all fuck. So when you hear that enough, and especially at the age I lost my virginity, which was really, really young,
Yeah.
you start thinking it gotta be about the sex. All the other stuff is just a precursor to sex. So if I can get to the sex first, I'm good. Like why?
Do
Like
you think that made? Hey everybody, it's your girl DJ with Plan for Keys podcast, and today I have a special guest, Hezekiah. He is a podcaster. His podcast is called The Unwrapped Mind. He is a poet, a writer, and he is here for Dating Chronicles, where you give a funny, crazy, or lesson learned dating story. But before we dive into that, I like to get to know all of my guests. So I want to learn a little bit about you and your podcast.
all right. So the Unwrapped Mind is the podcast about nothing that's talking about something. What it is simply a conversation that you can join in, probably in your car. It's 30 minutes away from the regular everyday norm, whether you're tired of listening to morning radio or just a regular somebody else's podcast. It is 30 minutes of me talking like you in the room and you're probably not.
What topics do you like to talk about? What's your go-to?
Anything. Honestly, my go-to is any and everything. Right now is Florida and the state of Florida and all the stupid stuff they doing in
Hold on,
Florida.
y'all. Why y'all always doing my home state like that?
Hey, you should check your governor at the door. That crazy shit they got going on is just I'm really see I'm going my Florida rant and I'm
You
trying not
talking
to.
politics?
I'm talking political and educational
Because
wise.
I know.
Like
Oh, okay, I
how
thought you
they
was talking
teaching
about
these
like.
kids this stuff. Like I'm just hoping Florida kind of fall in the ocean. Like I'm waiting on it any day now. Like seriously, like for real, for real. Like
Florida get dinged for everything. They get dinged for the crazy shit that they do.
no, I love that. I love Florida, man.
You love the ratchetness of
I love
Florida.
Florida, man. I love is one dude who always do reels about being in I think Jacksonville.
Yeah.
That dude, I love that dude. My sister live in Florida. My brother live in Florida. A ton of my friends live in Florida. So I love Florida. But what y'all got going on right now? Nah.
So that's what you got going on right now.
That's my current rant as far as like when I talk about something that my go to. If I feel like I'm running out of stuff to talk about, I can always ping Florida.
I respect people who can find an outlet to rant and get their thoughts out. And if a podcast is it, that's what's up. That's what's up. Tell me what else you do. I know before we started recording, you talked about, you're a writer, you're working on a book. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I don't want to give away too much about my book because it is a work in progress,
Okay.
and you're never supposed to tell everybody about your unfinished projects.
Okay.
But I am working on a book. I feel it's like the one. I've written several that I just didn't feel were good, so I've just shelved them. But this is the one. I'm gonna get it out hopefully in the next year.
Okay.
With the character development that I'm doing and the things I'm gonna do with this book. Hopefully, if I get some money, I do one of them cheap Tubi movies, and y'all get to see it on Tubi. But really, hopefully, I get it out within the next year, and then it'll be on the shelves and available on everywhere you can buy a book.
Got you. What genres do you focus on when you do write? You said you wrote several.
I focused on one, and literally, it was about myself. I was revealing bits and pieces of myself through my poetry, through my spoken word, just my mindset, the things that made up me. And I'll probably, hopefully, if this book goes well, I'll go back and release that book. I don't think the material will be dated, but I just don't think it was right for the audience right then and there.
Got you.
This one is simply, and like I said, I don't want to talk too much about it, but it chronicles relationships in 3 different phases.
So let me ask you this. What is the intention of the book? What would you like people to get out of the book?
That relationship happened, and you have to be willing to deal with the ups and downs of relationships and be honest about the ups and downs of relationships and how they affect you.
Bet. Okay. That sounds dope. All right. So you are here for Dating Chronicles, where you give a funny, crazy, or lesson learned dating story. What do you have for us today?
Wow. and we talked off air, and we talked off air. Y'all don't know this, and I'm gonna preface this by saying I'm married now, so all this stuff happened prior to me being married. All of it, I promise you. And I'm probably gonna use some fake names, but y'all won't know that because y'all don't know these people. So, and I'm trying to be.
I want you to be as honest and authentic as you can be.
Okay, so honestly, I never really dated a lot as a person, even though I've been out with a lot of women. I've never really dated a lot, and I know that sounds weird. How does that happen?
I don't think that sounds weird. It seems like that's a lot of men's story now. Like they be out here.
You gotta think, this ain't now. This is the 90s.
Oh.
This is the 90s, early 2000s,
Okay,
you know.
okay,
So
okay. Yeah,
I just went out a lot. Craziest story, or probably the funniest one, and I'm gonna take it back to my teenage years. Me and my best friend, his girlfriend, they decided to hook me up with a blind date because I was never the guy with a girlfriend. Okay. So took me out with this blind date, and I'm gonna preface this by saying, because I forgot we got video. I don't got video on my podcast. I was nowhere near as handsome as I think I am now. I think I was a little bit uglier as a teen. So they felt pity on me, hooked me up with a blind date. So I'm like, cool. That's back in the day when you can go like Pizza Hut or whatever, whatnot. And I was like doing it. So we go out to the spot. I'm catching the bus. I got like a pager. I'm like low level player. Like I'm entry level player in this whole thing. So I ain't really got much to really be that outside the fact that I'm Hans Grice and I know who I am in life.
I know that's right.
So I show up to Pizza Hut. It's my man, his girl, and then this girl. And this girl wasn't my type at all. So I spend the dinner. So they're sitting. You are Kathy. This is my man, Slick.
Okay.
This is me. This old girl. I spend the dinner like this. Because she ain't my type. So she's like trying to be interested. And I'm just not interested. I'm like.
How old were you?
I'm probably 16, 17 years old.
Oh my God.
So I'm looking at my man. I'm like, why would you bring me here on this date with this girl? Cause and I hate when I talk about, and I know I'm gonna get killed by the real life people, cause this girl was dressed like a lumberjack. And remember, 90s, Timberland boots was in, flannel shirts was in, big jeans was in. You don't show up like that. I know we just going to Pizza Hut, but come on, and I ain't saying you got to put on something for me, but don't show up looking like me.
Oh, wow.
So we sitting there, and I'm like, oh, like, this is horrible. And then she ain't my type. And granted, my type at that point was basically anybody I could sleep with.
So what? So she wasn't nothing.
Is there something about it just wasn't it? Like, I'm like, yeah, no.
She ain't had a crop top with it.
She ain't had no crop top. She had like a t-shirt. Like, she was dressed like I was dressed. Like, literally, she had on a t-shirt, crew neck t-shirt, under a flannel, some boots, and some big jeans. It was straight out of a 90s like video, like it's almost like Escape used to dress.
But they had like the crop top.
Minus the crop top. She had on a crew neck.
Oh.
So I'm sitting there like, this is horrible. But in my mind, I'm like, yo, old girl live 4 miles from here. In my mind, I'm thinking that. And the bus ride at the mall, because we like right by the mall. So I can just walk out. So we're eating dinner. Mm-hmm. And we're eating pizza. And she's trying her best to conversate. I'm gone. I'm totally out the whole thing. I never even face her through the conversation.
What?
Wasn't into it. Just wasn't. And I'm so pissed. So what I do, I go to the bathroom, drop a quarter in the payphone, page myself, come sit back at the table. Pager goes off. Hey, I pound out my pager. Hey, I gotta go see what this is, B. I go walk away. I come back. Yo, I got a bail. I'm bouncing, yo. I check you later. Peace out, everybody. Poof. I walk. Like my man's driving. My man been driving like forever.
Yeah.
I walk to the mall, hop on the bus, catch the bus to another girl's house. Cause that date was horrible for me. Absolutely horrible. But it gets worse.
Okay.
So I so I get to old girl's house. Her mom is down the street at her boyfriend's house.
Okay.
Cool deal for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over, sit back, kick back, chill. I fall asleep in the girl's house on her floor, fully dressed.
Okay.
She's in her bed, fully dressed. Middle of the night, I hear, "Mark, he's in the house."
Oh.
I'm like, whoa, like who in the house? I'm in the house. So this big, I'm probably all of maybe, no, I was about 5'9", so I'm about the same size I am now. But this dude, he was like 6'12" at the time. Because I'm
shit.
sleep, middle of the night, come running up the steps. He got on, and I don't know if they was downstairs fucking or not. To this day, I don't know. Because he had on coveralls and no shirt underneath. Mm-hmm. And he should have had on the shirt because of the weather. So he's like, get out the house, get out of here. I got to walk from one side of town to the other side of town. Because buses didn't run 24 hours back then.
Wow.
I'm walking all night from my side of town to the other side of town. This took me a good 30, 45 minutes to get back to my home.
You think that was karma do that? You did that,
So
girl.
I got no sex. I ain't get nothing. And I went on the worst date of my life.
You would say that's the worst date of your life?
Oh, yeah.
Why would you say it's the worst date?
Because I still remember that almost 30 years later. That was the single worst date of my life. The single worst. That was horrible. That was so horrible for me.
So do you think, have you ever been in a similar situation, and then if you were, did you handle it a little bit different?
No.
Or you just always been the type that's just straightforward, if you ain't fucking with it, you ain't fucking with it?
I've never blind dated after that. Period. I've never blind dated. I've never third wheeled. But I did meet people on the internet. I met my wife on the internet, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I met my wife on Black Planet. I don't know if anybody remember Black Planet. But I met my wife on Black Planet. So that was pretty cool. So I don't know if you call that blind dating, but you got profile pictures up. You get to see all that. But I never blind dated after that. I thought that was the worst experience, and I could never put myself in that situation ever again. So I never blind dated. Ever.
And you say you wasn't the type to date back in the 90s when that was a thing.
Right.
Why not?
For me, I wasn't relationship material. And for me, I honestly, up until a certain point in my life, I just wanted to have sex. It was just like, yo, are we fucking or not? Like, that was a huge part of my game. I was not the most attractive person in the world, so I had to get to the details. Look, hey, how you doing? I'm here, so what's going on? Cool deal. And depending on how I felt, the next word could be, are we fucking tonight?
So you said you felt you wasn't the most attractive.
Yeah.
So because you felt you wasn't the most attractive, is that why you treated women like that and wanted to just fuck?
Yeah, I think I had to get to it, because if you're not fucking me, why am I wasting my time? Like, why am I going to sit here and spend, why are we going to go out? Why are we going to eat dinner? Why are we going to do all this? At the end of the night, I'm just going home, because I know at least one girl will sleep with me. And I can always call one girl. So why am I going to go out with you? Hey, let's go out. Let's have this. And then in the night, you're like, thank you so much. Have a good night. Huh? Have a good night? This is not having a good night.
I'm curious. So who was there like anybody, like your father figure, anybody like in your upbringing that taught you like you need to get to the pussy?
Well, yes. Yes and no. I grew up in a mixed group of men.
Okay.
Because I had men that say, hey, this is how men act. This is how you really treat women. I grew up my sister. I got older sister. I got mothers.
Yeah.
I got aunts. I got more aunts than I have uncles. So I know how to treat women. Make no mistake about it. But I also grew up with the mentality and around people who I grew up right around the corner from a pimp. Full-blown whorehouse. Blocks from my house. You know, all the petty street gangsters and everybody like that. I grew up watching dudes beat up girls. All the craziness that you get to see. But my mindset was, one of the big things we talked about growing up was who was sleeping with who. How much sex was you having was always the big thing. I went out with Stacy. Did y'all fuck? That was like always the it was never, was she nice, was she cool, was she good looking? At some point in time is what, did y'all fuck? So when you hear that enough, and especially at the age I lost my virginity, which was really, really young,
Yeah.
you start thinking it got to be about the sex. You know, all the other stuff is just a precursor to sex. So if I can get to the sex first, I'm good. Like, why?
Do
Like,
you think that made you better than the other guys who would brag about if they got to it?
I never bragged. I never told people about who I slept with. That was never my thing. To walk around and be like I'm sleeping. Because I found out that the dudes I know are liars.
Oh.
And I'll tell you how. I got this rule I was taught is that you don't sleep with people. You don't sleep with girls who sleep with people you know.
Okay, like,
So,
got you.
because, and I don't want to say that because I almost insulted a whole group of people by saying it out loud. So anyway, one day me and this girl, we're having sex, we're doing our thing, foreplay and all this stuff. And keep in mind time frame. She was like, "Do you dive?" And I was like, "Hell no. No, I don't fucking dive." I was younger. So I'm like, "No." She was like, "Why not?" I'm like, "Cause we don't do that. Cause, you know, guys be like, nah, we don't eat out."
I know back in the day it was like that even when I was a kid, yeah.
So this girl went down a list of dudes that I know. She was like, he did it. I'm like, them lying motherfuckers. I'm like, oh. So that was a realization that dudes lie. Like, all the time.
Yeah,
I was like, how y'all lie? Like, I was so disappointed. Not disappointed enough I didn't sleep with her, but still disappointed that everybody lied to me about not going down on women. Because I just thought you didn't do it. So, that was one of my experiences with women. Like, dudes lie. So that changed kind of how I operate and treat women. And I think that was the original question, right?
Yeah, that was the original question. Okay, so that helped you change how you operate and treat women. So from there, what was the difference from what you did in the past versus at that moment and beyond?
Maturity. Maturity was a huge thing. You know, you mature, you realize you can't go through life sleeping with everybody. And there was a time I was, I think it was after my first divorce. I've been married twice.
Yeah.
So my first divorce, I was sleeping with anybody who sat down and used the bathroom. That's kind of mentality. It is. And honestly, and this is the stupidest thing I've ever had said to me too. Probably in my top 3. Woke up with a girl and she said, "I didn't know your eyes were brown." As opposed to what fucking color?
They could have been black.
I'm black. Black is not an eye color. Genetically, it's not eye color. There's nobody on this planet with black iris.
You would have thought I was dumb too, because I
was like, what the fuck color did she think my eyes was?
Probably black.
So I'm saying to myself, she didn't even take time to look me in my eyes. It was just about sex to her too. But I'm like, well, how many times have I done this with people who don't know anything about me? And I felt used. I felt like I was using me and they were using me. So I went on I tried to go on a 6 months abstinence. Probably lasted about 2.5.
Why do you think that triggered you so bad?
Because I felt like I was using myself. I felt like they was using me. And I'm not going to be used by anybody. Not even myself. And I just felt like dick. Like, I'm just dick walking around. That's it. Like, you don't look at me in my eyes. So
were you looking at these other women in their eyes in the past when the women were just, you was just trying to get sex?
Oh, yeah. Because my talk game is, I mean, like I say, my talk game is better than my face game.
Okay.
You know, you can put me on the phone and you'll be like, come over. I'm sitting in front of you. I got to work a lot harder. I can be on the phone. My talk game is A1. I will put my talk game against anybody. So
you were looking in their eyes and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I got to look you in your eyes and be like, hey, how you doing? Like, because when you look a woman in the eyes, you're connecting. She's like, yeah, he's into me. I don't care what you're talking about.
But you still were using her for the pussy, so you just didn't like the fact that you.
Bingo. And when it hit me that was happening, I was like, yo, I gotta change. I really was making changes. I really was like, I gotta change. And then I had a son on the way. And I wasn't gonna raise my son to be like that. You know, my mom, like I said, my mom didn't raise me to be that way, to be running in and out, you know, and doing everything. I didn't want my son to see whatever my life would have become. So I was like, yo, I definitely got to be trying to fix this up. And who don't want a relationship, you know, at some point in your life? Like, who don't want a real relationship? So, you know, you get into what feels like what definitely is your first real relationship. Because even my marriage, and God, I'm gonna say this wrong because I know at some point people are gonna hear this. My marriage was something I never should have done.
The first one?
The first one.
Yeah.
And I knew it. I knew it when I said yes.
So tell me why you said yes. Was she pressuring you? Was there pressure there? Like, or did you just decide to go with it and marry her because that's what everybody else was doing?
Well, we had known each other for years.
Okay.
We had known each other since, 7th, 8th grade.
Wow.
Had been longtime friends, longtime partners, longtime friends. Never in a relationship, though.
Yeah.
And some things happened with me, and we were talking, and I felt like, you know, I don't want to lose the people I got. And I was like, hey, you want to get married? And she said, yeah. I said, bet, let's get married on this day. And we did. You know, so, but in doing it, and I swear, and no fault to her, and I will say this all the time, cat people should be with cat people, dog people should be with dog people. And that's all it was. It was never like, because she's a great person.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, you know, I hated her guts, because I didn't.
Yeah.
It was just like we weren't compatible. And to stay with her, I would have done her no end of good, because in the long run, we just weren't compatible. Because she's an amazing person. I will not take that from her.
Yeah.
It just, don't work. You know, it just don't work. You know, like something looks nice when you see it, but when you get it, you're like, no, this ain't a good fit. And if we stay together, we're not gonna be friends in the long run. And I didn't want to ruin that.
Got you.
So it was like, hey, it's easier to be divorced, and we move on.
I'm going to jump around because I want to know the comparison between your first wife and then this wife. But during your 6 months abstinence, when you tried it, what was the process for you? What was your thought process on? I know, you know, like you said, you didn't want to feel used and
Avoidance.
all that stuff.
I avoid. I'm an avoidance person. So 6 months, like, listen, we ain't like, this would have been like, oh, I can't be in the room with y'all. Oh, no. Oh, no. I got to go. So I got to be an open area. If there's going to be women there, look, we got to be some real big open spaces. Don't be in my face. Don't talk to me. And she didn't say hi twice. Hey, I got to go. I'm out. It was avoidance for me. It was really just avoidance.
So do you think that 6 months kind of brought that in the forefront? Do you think you've always been kind of an avoidant? Like with your emotions, your feelings?
Yeah. I found out in life by talking to my aunt that like at least half my family were designed to be runners. And it's really, it's a family trait. Just talking to her about emotional things in our life, and just the history of people in our life.
Yeah.
When there's a situation we don't like, we just walk away from it.
Yeah.
And so we are runners by nature.
Got you. Do you think that played a part in your first marriage?
That, and like I said, it was a simple fact that I would rather two people stay good friends, than two people hate each other in the long run. You know, when you realize, hey, this isn't it. Yeah, you can stay and be like, we're gonna make this work. We're gonna do counseling. We're gonna do 50 million things. But in the long run, if you
do you think you would have probably had to change yourself too much to make it work?
No, I think it just wouldn't have worked. You know, it just wouldn't have worked. You know, cat people should be with cat people. Dog people should be with dog people.
Who would have had to really change? I'm just curious on that. Like, or do you think it just wasn't compatible? It just
wasn't compatible. You don't put diesel in a regular car. You just don't. It's just not gonna work. And there's no matter what we would have forced, it would not have felt natural.
Gotcha.
And I think in part of it, we never established a true relationship in that way coming up. And that probably was a huge part of it. But then again, just, life is what it is. You ain't supposed to be with everybody,
That's a fact. That's a fact. So when you think about your first marriage to your marriage now, how were you more intentional on choosing the right person besides just life and getting older and being more mature?
It's intentional, just like you said. It is intentional. Second marriage, I was in the Marine Corps, and I know y'all hear all. So this is how it happened, and I'm gonna paraphrase this because I know my wife is listening. I know she's gonna be listening. She's listening. So I'm gonna tell the story 100%,
Okay.
or close to 100% as I can get without everybody knowing our business.
Okay.
So moved to California right before Hurricane Katrina.
Okay.
Literally got to California then. I knew nobody, so I'm on Black Planet because Black Planet was it. That was popping back then. And honestly, I'm there to meet people, trying to figure out who's in the area, what can I see, what can I do.
Yeah.
And my wife hit me up odd enough because she thought I was somebody else. She was like, "Hey, you such and such." I'm like, "Nah, not at all. I'm not that dude." So she thought I was lying. She like, "Nah, you gotta be." I'm like, "Nah, I'm really not that dude." But hey, how you doing? Because she's a nice looking woman. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on? This is who I am." And she's like, "Well, this is who I am." So we're chatting like daily, boom, boom, boom. "Hey, what's your number?" I love it, we exchange numbers. So we're chatting, we're talking on the phone. Never met each other face to face.
Okay.
I'm in California, right around the San Diego area. She's up in Riverside. So for those in California, that's about an hour some change drive.
Yeah.
So I had to go to Arizona for some training. I come back from Arizona. My man John Jay, and that's a real name, and I should never say that out loud. He's throwing a nice little party.
Okay.
I go to his party. I meet this crazy girl, which could be another story, which I'll probably tell you, maybe. So I meet this crazy girl at this party, and she like all over me, kissing me. She put like sucker bites all on my neck.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap, for real. So I'm like, whatever. I go home. My dad come down from Vegas to visit. I stay in like a little 2-bedroom apartment. My dad come down from Vegas to visit. My wife is like in San Diego visiting her cousin.
Yeah.
She's like, "Hey, I'm in your area. Can I come through? I'd love to meet you." I'm like, "Oh, shoot. Like, she want to come over right now?" I'm like, "Bet. Cool. Come on over."
Okay.
So now I'm thinking, I got to convince this girl I don't live with my father in this 2-bedroom apartment. And I got a neck full of sucker bites. We're going to see how this go. So she come over, and I know because there's no way she couldn't. She's staring right at my neck like, "This motherfucker right here?" Yep. And so I'm like, "Hey, it's no big deal. This ain't no big thing to me." I just casually tell the story. A girl was like all over me, and I was just like, "Nah."
Oh, wow.
And then I got to be like, "Hey, when you go to my apartment, my dad sleep on the couch. But this is my place because my dad live in Vegas." Yeah, so I got to convince her of these two things at the exact same time. So I did.
Okay.
I'm quite sure she went home and talked all sorts of shit about me to her friends. I'm almost certain she did. So we still kept talking. Every day is great. I mean, every morning, "Hey, how you doing?" Get the little text messages, smiley faces. We get calls. We talking all the time. I'm like, "This is amazing. This is this is great. I like this."
Yeah.
So we carry on. A couple things happen to just keep our relationship going, solidified. The biggest thing, I got deployed. So if you hear about military, dudes get deployed, get girlfriends, come back, get wiped out 100%.
Yeah.
So I get deployed, and I'm like, "Listen, I'm saving up money like crazy, but I want to buy." I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna start ordering clothes, shoes, and all sorts of stuff. Send them to your house because I ain't got no place to live. I'm sending all this shit to you." She's like, "All right, cool, whatever, So I send all my stuff to her.
Yeah.
Everything I own. And I'm also like, I'm going to need an apartment. I need like cell phone. I need all sorts of shit when I come back. Because I've been gone a year. I'm about ready to come back. I need all sorts of shit when I come back. She like, "Okay, cool. I need you to get this." Because usually my sister was handling all my business. My sister's in Ohio. I'm in California. This girl's like, "Okay, I got it."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Okay, cool." When I come back, my heart is, my body's of two ways. Either I got shit or I got everything. Because, I come home, she wiped me out, I'm fucked.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. But I come home, she like, "Hey, these people are waiting on you to come sign this lease for this apartment. I got a cell phone already ready for you, and all your stuff is at my house." I'm like, oh shit, this is amazing. Like, oh my God, like this is trust. This is trust right here.
Yeah.
This is what you're looking for. So that was trust. And I trust her with my second most valuable thing. My first most valuable thing is my son. My second most valuable thing is my assets. I trust her with that.
Yeah.
Boom. She incredible. Didn't do anything. Wasn't missing a penny. Everything's where it was supposed to be. Great. Then we actually started doing the dating, the going out. Like, hey, do you want to go out on a date? Like, let's go eat and let's go spend time and all that stuff. And we did all that. Then I didn't want to get married.
Okay.
Because I've already been married. And I'm like, I know how that story ends. I get mad, you get mad. We realize we shouldn't be with each other. I end up dating somebody else. You know, also knew in the military I was going to leave California. So these things are happening all around the same time. She's like, I want to get married. I'm like, I don't want to get married, but I got to leave California. She's like, well, I ain't leaving California and follow you around as your girlfriend.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, I don't know what we're going to do because I don't want to get married, but I love you. I was like, and I kept trying to convince her, marriage wasn't going to make my love stronger.
Yeah.
Marriage ain't going to make my love better. And marriage don't do none of that. Like, that's not what that's for. It's a legal act. And I kept trying to convince her. She wasn't having it. So I'm like, fuck. I'm really like probably within 8 months of me having to leave.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, what am I going to do? I probably had about a year. Probably had 8 months to a year. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do to make this, to do? I was like, because if I leave her, if we leave and I don't get married, my B plan is when I got out the Marine Corps, I moved to New York, get a studio apartment, I write plays, I teach at the local university, and I romanticize my life into a movie somewhere down the line. Or make this work. And I started driving, and I know this is like the most sappiest part of the world, but I'm driving, I'm thinking about my life before I met her.
Yeah.
And how fucked up it was. I'm thinking about my life since I met her. How fun it is, how great it is, how everything is the way I think life should be. So I was like, we get married. In my mind, I'm like, I gotta ask this girl to marry me. So I literally went and bought a ring, went to the store, went and bought a ring, went and asked her mom, went and asked her stepfather at the time, hey, can I have your permission to marry your daughter?
Wow.
Mutual friends were getting married. So hey man, I'm gonna propose at your wedding. Is that gonna be cool? They said yes. And I asked her at a wedding and she said yeah. So that was like the best part. But it was really maturity because it was not like, I could not see me being without her in the long run. And we've been together for 18 years. We've been married for 16 of them.
You.
So it could have been, like I said, right now, I'm sitting in some studio in New York, romanticizing my life in some play, burning candles like, yo, can't wait till this screenplay get picked up.
I know you don't like to speak on other men, like based on our conversation per recorder, but do you think, because a lot of men they'll find a woman that they can trust, right? And then they won't make that decision to either marry her, or they won't make that decision to either do right by her because they want to still play around, stuff like that. Do you think it's because they don't take that second, like what you just described, to think about what their life was like before they met her versus now? Would you say that?
I think that's a huge thing. I think that is probably a huge part. Like, they don't realize that it's the long run. It's the long game. Yeah, I love her. She gonna deal with me through my bullshit. No, she not, because she gonna love herself first. So if you love her and you really love her, it's self-sacrifice. I can sacrifice that bullshit I thought I was gonna do to make myself and make us better. So I don't think dudes give it that thought. I don't think some dudes give it that thought. And even in marriage, still some dudes don't give it that thought because they still make the same mistakes.
Gotcha. What would you say, what piece of advice would you give to somebody, like you said, you've been married for a long time now. What advice would you give to somebody who is married and wants their marriage to be successful?
The best advice, honestly, is don't listen to my advice. Don't listen to anybody's advice.
Okay.
That's the best piece of advice I always give everybody. And then I give advice. So
okay.
You have to realize what's going to work. And no relationship is perfect. Me and my wife, we had a big conversation. And I was like, listen, we're going to have to take divorce off the table. No matter what we go through, in or out, good, bad, whatever it is. If we take divorce off the table, we'll figure out if we want to fight through this or not. And that's what it is. If you, because divorce is easy. It's easy to be like, fuck you, I'm out of here. We gone. We divorced. We're going to take divorce off the table and see what we can do. Now, if it come down to it, we done took it off the table, we done looked at everything, and we still don't realize we want to be together, then we got to walk away. So take divorce off the table. Realize it is okay to go to bed mad, because that's one of your true feelings. If you say, well, we shouldn't go to bed angry, you're shutting down a real emotion that you have in order to appease a myth or stereotype that we shouldn't even be appeasing. Why can't I go to bed mad? Why can't I go to bed mad at you? You made me mad all day. I can't go to bed mad at you so we can sleep better? So I can get 6 quality hours of sleep? Hell no. No, I'm mad at your ass. I am fucking mad, and I can be mad, and that's okay. It's okay to not talk to your spouse. No, I don't want to talk. It's okay to say, we ain't talking. It's okay to argue. Now, I argue to win. So, if you tell me your mom was a crackhead in 87, it's coming back out. So don't argue with me. But it's okay to argue. All the stuff people say you shouldn't do, it's okay to do.
Let me ask you this, and this is not me challenging you per se, right? But I definitely agree. Like, if you're angry and you have to go to bed mad that night,
right,
it's cool. I think for me, it's like when you are mad, right? Do you because sometimes you might have this for other people. They might have a spouse who's kind of anxious, like, hey, we need to talk now. You might not be in the mood to talk because, like you said, you're the type, I'm going to bring up your mama was a crackhead in 87. Like, okay, do you give a time limit for yourself to be like, hey, okay, I need today to feel my feelings and then maybe we can talk tomorrow? Would you agree to give your spouse that if they needed that? Because you need to make sure you don't say the wrong shit.
Give it the time it takes. Because sometimes, a lot of times, the shit just goes away. Not because it wasn't worth it. And honestly, it goes away because it probably wasn't even worth being mad about in the first place. Like, we're going to talk about this Tuesday. Why are we going to rehash this shit on Tuesday? Because is it really worth it? Say it's something as, I stayed out till 4 in the morning. I said I was going to be home at 1. I'm out at 4. I got to come back with glitter on me. You all pissed off about it. And then now, and I'm speaking for me. Yeah. If you mad, I'm going to get mad because of that shit. We might as well both be mad. I'm going to find something to get mad about. I might bring up something you did 3 weeks ago I never even thought about.
That's petty as hell.
It is. I'm not saying it ain't. So we both going to be mad. You know what? But let's just be mad until maybe we do decide to talk. And that might take days. Or maybe it's just, you know what? Are you okay? Yeah. All right. Cool. It went away not because we didn't talk about it, because it wasn't even worth being mad about. It was just something so, at the time, when adrenaline hits you from anger,
I'm definitely going to know.
You want to jump.
I'm definitely going to want to know where the glitter came from.
Okay, cool. And then
2 days later, we can talk about it.
No, I want to talk about that glitter shit. Okay, cool. But give it whatever days it takes. Don't put no time limit on it, because, once again, you're forcing me to conform to something that maybe that's not natural to me. It's been 3 days. Let's talk. Still don't want to talk to your motherfucking ass. Just like I wouldn't talk to Tim if he did this shit to me. I ain't talking to neither one of y'all. I'll talk to you when I want to.
Would you say it depends on the circumstance, though? Because you brought up a crazy ass scenario.
Everything is circumstantial. I mean, you gotta think everything is. I mean, unless you catch me in bed with a woman, which we need to talk about that almost immediately. But other than that, like, hey, if it's something that I could say regular people shit. Like, I come home with glitter on me. I was at the strip club. We really got to talk about it?
Oh.
I mean,
you already had that conversation beforehand. Yeah.
I mean, no. Even if we don't, like, come on. Like, there ain't too many places a guy gonna go come home with glitter on. Let's be honest. In real life, he was not in Hobby Lobby.
Depending on the relationship, depending on that, might be an immediate conversation.
It ain't an immediate conversation because
depending. Because if like what you just said.
Say I come home, I got glitter on me.
Right.
Hey, baby, how you doing? You pissed off. Now, you the mad person. Hey, baby, how you doing? You good? No, motherfucker, I'm not good. You got glitter all on you. What the fuck you mean am I good? Oh, you mad. I got to give you whatever days it takes for you to get over that shit. Because once again, I don't want you yelling at me either, because I'm retaliatory.
No, I'd be like, well, you said you was going to be back at 1 and I see glitter on you. What if I would have came at you like that? Then it opens up a dialogue for conversation.
But that's not anger.
Yeah.
That's not anger. Now,
right.
You escalate to anger from that niceness. One, you're wrong. Just hit me with your anger. Don't pull me. Don't try me into it. Don't hit me. Don't hit me with the.
See, but I'm the type of person. But I'm gonna be. See, but we gonna have a conversation though.
But see, that's a conversation.
Me. But we gonna have a conversation. I ain't gotta be angry because if I knew you went to the strip club, right?
No, you don't know I went to the strip club. I went to Mark's house.
Let's say I knew you went to the strip club.
You know I went to the strip club.
Let's say I knew you went to the strip club, and we cool with that.
Okay.
But you said your ass was gonna be back at 1. This is not how I would talk. But let's say you said you were gonna be back at 1 from the strip club. Let's say, right? But then you come back at 4-5. And I'm waiting up for you because you want to make sure you straight. You ain't let me know, hey, I'm going to stay a little longer. And you got glitter all over you. Hey, babe, I'm just going to be like...
Several lap dances later, I looked up, it was 4 in the morning. Because one thing I'm going to be is honest about, especially if I already told you I'm at the strip club.
Yeah.
I got no choice but to be honest about it after that. And I don't know where this glitter came from, baby. I might have lied at that point. You already know where I was at. Like,
yeah. But then it's even worse if it's a lie, and then the woman is upset, right? And you said you're gonna be back at a certain time, and then she upset, and then you get upset. That's some manipulative shit.
Let me tell you. If you already know I'm at the strip club, I have nothing but the truth after that, because.
But then that's
what
that's
took
true.
me so long, baby. I kept getting lap dances. Because that's the only thing I could do at a strip club to come home covered in glitter.
But then I was going back to what you said. Well, what? Let's say she don't know. But then,
all right, say I'm at Mark's house. I told you I'm going to Mark's house. We watching the fight. Then I roll in at 4 in the morning covered with glitter. Go ahead.
Hobby Lobby ain't open at 4 in the morning.
I told you we was at Mark's. We was watching the fight. Next thing you know, Mark said, "Yo, you want to go over to Magic City?" I said, "Hell, fucking yeah." Shit, we was there. I'm sitting there doing my 1-2 thing. Fuck, I mean, you know what it is. You know what the strip club is. I was doing my 1-2 thing.
Now that conversation is different depending on the couple and if they cool with that. Because there's some people who cool with that. So there's nothing to be mad about if you can be open like that.
But
so there wouldn't be no anger.
I can't lie and say I was at Mark's house all night coming home covered in glitter. Because there is no around.
Yeah, you should have came up with a better scenario.
I come home smelling like stale. All right, hey, I'm at Mark's house watching the fight.
Yeah.
And this is not my brother, Mark, who is my real brother, for those who, know my family. So, say, hey, I'm like, tonight, the fight is on tonight.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go watch the fight tonight. I roll up 4 in the morning. Where you been? Watching the fight.
What y'all do after the fight?
Hung out.
I'm not even going to say where my mind went because there's so much shit going on social media where the men hanging out with their homeboys and they hanging out with their homeboys and they doing some other shit and they get caught up on some other shit. Not even fucking around with who the woman would first think that man fucking around with. So that's why I said, hey, 4 in the morning.
Hey, time looked by. I wasn't paying attention to the clock. Next thing you know, it's 4 in the morning. And sometimes, honestly, the big thing is, we want to come home at 2 in the morning. But it's the same anger at 2 in the morning as at 4 in the morning.
Depends on the woman.
Shit, no, what woman got a different hour of anger?
It depends on the woman. It definitely depends on the woman. Because if you do got that open dialogue with her, if y'all open like that, then the anger would be different. It would just be more so of, you told me you'd be home at 1. Just like, hey, what happened? You couldn't tell me you was gonna stay till 4. What if you would have gotten into a wreck? What if something bad would have happened? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Yeah, I get it. Those things happen. But once you late, you late. It's kind of like being late for work. Once you late, once you realize you're late for work, do you speed up or do you say I might as well go to McDonald's and get coffee?
I'm definitely going to speed up and go to work.
I'm already late. Once I'm late, I'm already late.
You know what, sir?
I'm already late. It's the same fucking when I walk in, ain't no sense in me walking in and then being like, I got to go back out. I might as well do everything I need to do while I'm out. You can laugh.
You remind me of my little brother, man. That's all I'm gonna say. But he do some shit like that.
But that's the mentality, though. For real, that's the mentality, though. But
so you just take it all in. Just know she gonna be pissed, and you just take it all in. But can you take it all in and not get mad yourself though, because your ass was late?
It depends on what's said. It depends on what's said to me. Like, you so fucking stupid. Whoa, not even insult. Like, don't insult me with your, don't bring me down and shit because you mad. Like, you so fucking stupid. I'm tired of your stupid ass. And,
because that ain't got nothing to do with
you know what I'm saying? If it's like you mad because I'm out late,
stick to why you mad.
Exactly. Don't start insulting me because then that's when the retaliatory come in.
Gotcha. So that's when your mama was a crackhead.
Yeah. So I'm fucking stupid? I'm fucking stupid when your mama smoking crack? Whoa. And everybody like, oh shit, like, I told you that in confidence. Well, I guess we ain't confident no more.
You know what? I respect that though. I can definitely. I know when some women are angry, they don't stick to the topic of why they mad. I will say that, but the men be knowing they out, like you just said. Well, shit, I'm already late. Let me grab the coffee. Let me make yourself even more late. I'm already. The
right thing to do in this scenario, honestly, and I can say this at my age now, the right thing to do is say, hey, babe, fight's over or the fight's boring. We're going to swing through the club. I'm going to come, and then I'll be home. That's the absolute correct thing to do. That's the easiest thing to do to avoid 90% of that shit. Is just more. Now, if you say, hey, what club you going to? I'm going to a strip club. Then if she start having fits, just don't go. Just, you know what? That ain't even a fight worth fighting. Don't die on that hill.
No, don't die on that hill. And then you know what type of woman some of these men get with these women and they know, get with the woman that would be.
You don't know. You everybody got that girl. I don't care if you go to the strip club, babe. Yeah, you say that shit. You say that shit till I go. Because then, how much money did you spend?
Well, yeah, that's a big factor.
If you don't care, you don't care.
Hold on now. That's a big factor now.
What I'm supposed to do at the strip club?
I mean, you could. Okay, how much money you pull?
Victoria's Secrets.
How much money you pulling out of the bank account? Is it going to affect the bills? Is it going to affect because some men are really irresponsible.
You know what? But then you should know. He should know, and then you should know your man.
Right. I agree with that.
But I don't want to. Oh, you got lap dances. I don't want to have to come home and give you a full detail either. Oh, you got lap dances. Did you like it? What the fuck?
Yeah, that.
I obviously liked it if I kept paying for them. I came home with no money. I obviously liked what the hell was going on.
Yo, that's a different topic. That's a different topic. Women really know your man before you get into the relationship, and same for men. It's vice versa. Same
cat people should be with cat people. Dog people be with dog people.
I respect that. I do. Now let me dig into these questions that I have.
Let's see if I can shock your audience a little bit more.
Okay. Growing up, what was the most misunderstood thing about you?
That I was crazy.
Tell me about that.
Because I was, I hate sounding like I'm bragging. I was really smart, and really, I guess the term people like to say is militant. I was really boisterous, really big about teaching what I read because I was big into reading, big into books, big into learning about who I was. And it comes out crazy when you're telling people about, knowledge of self.
Got you. Okay. How long is good sex?
Oh. When she comes or creams really, really good.
What if she's not a comer or a creamer?
Then she's going to have to give me a signal. Because at some point I'm going to have to finish this race. And let's be honest, that whole 45 minutes ain't no dude out here pumping you for 45 minutes. If he is, he on them gas station pills.
He on gas station pills. Or what's the
Viagra?
It's Viagra, but I was thinking about, what's the other sexual tantra?
Ain't no dude pumping for 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah, because even tantric, right, don't they slow down a little bit and then they... Okay, you know what, that's another...
There's some people can't even run for 20 minutes. You think it's some dude pumping for 20?
I just had some dudes now who just kept going. Maybe he was on gas station pills. I don't fucking know, but...
That motherfucker on gas station pills. He straight pumping for 20 minutes. That motherfucker on gas station pills. Fuck that shit. You can't lift weights for 20 straight minutes. You can't do 20 minutes worth of push-ups. You can't do nothing with your body for 20 sustained minutes without taking a break. Think about that.
You know what? Maybe so. I mean, but I don't know.
But really, the bigger question, who's really timing this?
I was just asking because some people say, Hell, I know I don't want no quick pumper either. You ain't finna be up in me for no 2-3 damn minutes and then that's it.
True again. And
you know what I'm saying?
Too. But who's really timing? If you're timing 30 minutes on your clock, you don't be with somebody bad any fucking way.
What if you just so happen to look at the clock and it's like 2:31?
If you remember the time,
and then it's 3:30.
If you remember the time we started, and you can add up from the time we finished, once again, I'm bad in bed.
I could be really good and like angel numbers and stuff.
Fuck that shit. Not if we do it right. You ain't gonna be giving a fuck with time in it. The only thing you're gonna be worried about is how quick can you get some sleep if you're in the wet spot and if you're really that thirsty. Those gonna be your 3 questions. Like, where's this wet spot at? And am I really that fucking thirsty right now? Other than that, yeah.
Let me see if you can answer this question. Childhood trauma is more blank than blank.
It's more real than most people think.
Do you want to share why you think that for yourself?
And this is where I'm gonna shock some of y'all. I work with children.
Okay.
Every day.
Okay.
And listening to their traumas and the things they go through, what we dismiss as something that they'll get over, they don't.
They don't. Yeah. They don't. It translates in dating and relationships too. That's why I'm real big on that. Okay. Fire one more question for you. What is the craziest thing you've ever done for the sake of love?
For the sake of love?
For the sake of love. Or the craziest thing you've ever done in dating, relationships, dealing with women.
The craziest thing I've done for the sake of love is, and I say crazy because that's the word we're using. I got married twice.
Why?
Because I married my wife. Because I didn't want to be married.
Oh.
So I say crazy because that's the word we're using. But it's the best thing I've done for the sake of love. Or
what's the worst thing you've ever done for the sake of love?
I've learned the act of forgiveness too, which is both ways.
Okay.
To accept being forgiven and to forgive a person. The worst thing I've done for the sake of love, I don't think I've done a worse thing for the sake of love. I don't think I've done something worse I don't think you can do something worse.
You don't think you've done anything crazy and then it turned out bad for you? You ain't never did nothing like that?
Not for love, no.
Y'all avoidance, man.
No, it's not avoidance. Like because
I'm saying a lot of dismissive avoidant people who don't put their all in. Not saying you didn't put your all, but let's say like in relationships you didn't put like your all in a relationship and you missed out, or the person did you dirty at the end, or.
And I'm not even gonna chalk this up as worse.
Okay.
I don't even know how to chalk this up. A woman proposed to me.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we end up not getting married because of the decisions I made.
So you did tell her yes?
Initially, I said yes.
Okay.
But then I said no, and I did it for the sake of me and her because I just don't think we were ready.
Got you. Now let me ask you my last question towards that. How did you heal from hurting her? Because I'm sure that hurt her.
Conversations, and it's unknown if she's fully healed because just as you grow through life, you part ways. You don't know where a person is at mentally, but we had conversations about it. You know, listen. At the time, I thought it was a good idea, but as I sat there and thought about it, I just didn't think we were ready. We were in love, definitely as in love as we could be at the time. Yeah. But marriage probably would have. I don't think that was in the cards for us. Gotcha. We had plans. So.
Wow. Would you say it was like a personality difference?
I don't know. I think it was just I think it was probably my hesitation to be married again.
Okay.
It was like, what am I doing? Like, why am I going to marry twice? And I think a lot of that was my hesitation of being married twice.
Gotcha. And just not being in the place that you was in when you met your now wife.
Right.
Got you. Understood. Okay. Let me ask you this. Where can the audience find you?
All right. So y'all can find me, The Unwrapped Mind, all one word, on anywhere podcasts are streamed. Audible, Spotify. You can Google it. You can say it to Alexa. You can say it to anything. I'm everywhere. I have an Instagram page, which I'm not really big on social media, but I'm working on that. Trust me. And I also got a Facebook page y'all can follow. New episodes drop every Wednesday. And just check me out. And, I make sure the episode plays all week. So right now I'm at episode 123.
Yo.
So I got 123 episodes you can choose from.
So he got a major catalog. Y'all check him out. And until next time.